in the Huntsville. I'm in the Huntsville, Madison, Alabama area. Storage facility owner for here in the area, and so I'm new to the group.
Nice.
But I've met you several times at different events throughout the years at the storage facility conferences, and joined the meetup last week, and just happy to be back again this week to get some more nuggets about what's going on in the market.
Cool. Thank you for joining us. It's always like nice having new people coming on. So what's one of your favorite shows that you go to?
I kind of like just like anything else, the meetups, the networking. And it's always good to have the general session when we have those, I like to call them big time people that's presenting on tricks and tips that they're doing for the year. I've been to the one, I go to one in April. I hadn't been to the one in the fall. So the ISS in April has been really good. But for me, just the networking, meeting different owners and being face to face with the different owners and just talking about shop and what things are working, what things are not. All of my facilities are unmanned, so we got a management company that manages all our calls and that kind of thing. So just in the process of that, and just trying to get some tips on what everybody else is doing as far as marketing, things of that sort. Store ease is popping up around here a lot. And extra space is here too, and U-Haul is building a really big facility in our location. I've seen a similar one in California where they're doing the big container storage now.
Oh, really?
So it's like they've been into that, but they're bringing one of those big facilities here to the Huntsville, Madison County area.
Yeah, they're building one right near us, and I stopped by the little small U-Haul company store that's been here a while, and there's a three-story steel structure going up, and they said they'll have 1,000 pod storage in it, and then they'll addition to that, they're going to put some climate-controlled self-storage alongside. I talked to the manager, I just went in didn't tell him who I was, just went in as a potential customer, and found out. And yeah, I'm curious what that's going to have impact. We don't do climate control and nobody does in our area, but uh, U-Haul has a few, just 100 units or something in their existing kind of truck rental facility, and we weren't sure what will happen with this bigger one going in. And if anybody's had any experience with one of these big U-Haul facilities going in, and what impact it had on their business.
Yeah, they got the big container business here too, and they put up another structure that's probably about maybe probably a couple 100,000 climate control building right next to that.
Wow.
And we had life storage here, but it looks like they've been bought out a lot by Extra Space in our area. So there's been a lot going on. A lot of people moving here. A lot of storage facilities been popping up. I wish I could have got in on some of those new construction deals, but the construction cost is probably out the roof to build a new facility like that.
Yeah, but U-Haul is defaulting to those larger properties now. As I'm doing feasibilities and I pull up submittals that they're submitting to the municipalities, it's mostly a majority of them are, say, three-story climate control buildings with a very large building off to the side of it for the box thing that they're doing. And then plus room for all the trucks and everything else. So they're kind of making these all in one very, very large stores from what I've seen in their newer ones.
Yeah, I'm curious so we're north of the San Francisco Bay Area, a couple hours about it. Do they regionally try and find cheaper real estate to put these big things in? I can't imagine. I mean, our town the whole county is 100 miles by 100 miles, and there's only 100,000 people in it. So it's relatively rural. Yeah, trying to figure out what their strategy is, I guess, with this big pod storage. So,
well, for a while they had targeted conversions like the large old Kmart's and things like that. That's what they were targeting for quite some time, at least when I was traveling around looking. When they were traveling, and they would convert maybe half the building and just leave the rest of it for later. Now on their new builds, they're focusing on those larger multi-story plus the U-Box plus the parking and truck service centers across the board. How they're determining how many of the U-Boxes they need, that I don't know.
Yeah. It just seems like it's an overbuild for our location, but maybe I don't know the business model on those pods so well. I mean, I looked at it for moving my daughter across country once, and it was bloody expensive. And we rented a truck and drove. But anyway, about how I can't imagine our community using that much pod storage or pods. Are they? Does some people leave it in those things for 6 or 8 months, and U-Haul might store stuff that somebody actually wants it eventually 60 miles from us? How do they? What's their
Yeah,
model?
yeah. So I was president of the Mobile Storage Association for about 8 or 10 years,
Oh wow.
and was involved with U-Haul when they went into that business.
Uh-huh.
And the big money in that business is for shipping interstate. So those containers, and the reason you use small ones is they can go into the back of a dry van. So you may be a key logistical spot wherever your city is to where they're dropped off. The length of stay on those is typically longer. It's people relocating or they go somewhere. A lot of military, if you have any military anywhere near you, a lot of military use containerized storage, and they have that business. But it kind of goes with their truck rental business. It's truck rental without the truck. And the worst part about moving across the country and driving the truck is driving the truck. And so that's kind of what their business model is.
Well, I know
That's you're hitting the nail on the head. We got Redstone Arsenal here, and we just got Space Command. So that makes sense. That's probably, and it's an influx of a lot of apartment buildings that just came on the line in the last 3 to 5 years in Huntsville. Like we went up, I think it's like 33,000 doors of apartments. So it's been a real huge influx of apartments, and we have a huge military base with Redstone Arsenal here, and Space Command is coming, and FBI is here, but they're bringing another 2,500 more people. So that makes sense that pod system is working, or that's what they're anticipating doing. But it's several storage facilities on that street, and they just put up the massive, everybody's like, what's going on right there? And then now you can see them. And the other one that I saw was in California. It was in Sacramento and Elk Grove was the other one that I saw that had the hauling system in the U-Haul with the containers.
Yeah, and that's about
the other thing you should look at, and Matt Van Horn can fill you in, but population growth or expected population growth of your area within the next 5 years.
Yeah,
so that's the other thing that
there's
use.
Nothing.
Yeah.
We've got, that's what's odd to me. There's, other than that, maybe it's just cheap ground relative.
What part of California are you in?
Northern California. So I'm right on Highway 101, but I'm north of San Francisco, 2.5 hours, and about 2.5 hours straight west on Highway 20. It's not a interstate from Sacramento area, from that Elk Grove like you talked about. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it just seems unless I know my brother-in-law was driving, I'm trying to think where he was moving a couple years ago, and U-Haul was asking him, he rented a truck and asking him if he would haul pods behind his trailer, behind his truck he was renting, and they would pay him a discount or give him a discount on his truck rental. But anyway, it just seems like logistically, I don't know how they move these things around, but it seems like that distance of moving this to another location would kind of be a killer. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So
that's interesting. I'm sorry to jump in. I know kind of the big guy here in Utah for U-Hauls. I've been seeing the U-boxes and stuff pop up everywhere. So gotta be a decent model. Otherwise, they wouldn't be expanding as much as they are. I'm going to reach out to him and see if he'll come on and let us peek behind the curtain a little bit. That's a good
just
idea.
As an example, I'm in St. Louis, but at one point in time, I sold my properties to, at the time it was Uncle Bob's, but I had over 3,000 containers in storage at one point in time. So, and we're not that big of a metro area.
That's perfect. Well, I want to jump in here, guys, because I want to make sure I highlight column here, and then we can go back to some other things later on if we like. But I reached out to Colm here. Let me spotlight you here, man. There you are.
Hey everyone, nice to meet you all.
Anyway, as we all do, scrolling through TikTok, I was going through stuff, and I always like the marketing stuff, the Google Business Profile things. That's how I learn, and I'd like to have people that are not necessarily just focused on storage, because we can all learn from everybody else on what they're doing and apply best practices to our markets and our businesses. And so yeah, I've been following Colm for a while. I reached out to him like, hey, you want to come talk to some storage nerds? And he was gracious enough to jump on. So if you don't mind, I'd love to have you kind of present a little bit on marketing and what we talked a little bit earlier about coming to make sure we're on the right foot for 2026 and introduce stuff a little bit and take it away, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jim. And nice to see you all. Looks like there's quite a few of you on here. Um, so what I specialize is in local SEO, which, like it sounds, is trying to get you ranking on Google, specifically your Google business profile, within your vicinity, right? So I imagine for the storage business, it's hyper local. It's probably within 5 miles, maybe
3,
miles.
3, yeah.
Yeah, so hyper local. Um, so the question is, how can we get your Google business profile, your website, and now with AI to show up in the AI platforms? And so there's a little bit of a shift going on there with AI. People are making it out to be a little bit bigger than it is, at least currently. Uh, Still, the basics of SEO, making sure that your Google business profile is optimized, your website is optimized, you have citations, and you're in directories, you have backlinks. Those things still all matter. You have to be prominent on the internet to be prominent in any AI platforms. That's where they pull all their data from. So if you're already doing all of those traditional local SEO basics, there's a good chance that you're going to be showing up quite high in AI search results as well. But there are some key shifts happening, and I think these will accelerate in the next couple of years. So I think it's good to kind of get a jump start and kind of understand where we're going with that. So I guess the first thing to understand is that SEO and local SEO um, is location dependent, right? There's a lot of mixed information out there as far as um, what you should be doing or what you shouldn't be doing. It's all going to depend on your market, how competitive your market is, how big your market is. Um, there's a lot of factors at play. So each case has to be taken case by case basis. Possibly the easiest strategy for you as a business owner to take if you're going to be doing this yourself is just to do a quick search. Who are the top competitors that are showing up? One, two, and three. Look at their Google business profile, look at their website, use a software to inspect their backlinks, what directories they're in, and
What
basically just copy them and do it a little bit better, right? So
there,
that's kind of
there's
the
certain software you recommend to be able to kind of peek under the hood of
um,
competition?
yeah, I mean, there's plenty of these out there. You can use something like Uber Suggest, which is quite an affordable option. You can use something like SEMrush. You can use Ahrefs or Ahrefs or whatever, people call it different things. I see someone says, I use SpyFu. There's a lot of different tools. There's even some free ones out there. You don't have to get super crazy with this. Again, this is local. It's not like you're trying to rank across the whole world for, um, you know, uh, whey protein or something like that that people are searching for, right? It's very hyper local. Yeah, SEMrush. SEMrush is a great one.
Okay.
Basically, you want to understand what your competitors are doing to get themselves ranked higher up, especially with Google Maps. How often are they posting photos? How many reviews do they have? Are they responding to those reviews? You just have to go through all of that stuff. What's the word count on the website pages? What are the titles on their website pages? There's a lot at play here, but you basically need to take the time to go through. So that would be the most direct and simplest way to try to analyze the competition and what maybe you should do to get yourself up there if you're not already up there. So that being said, I want to share my screen and just share some of the changes that will be coming and are already here with AI. So I don't know, Jim, if I'm able to share my screen.
Yep, you should be able to.
Okay. And I will take some questions at the end here. So um, let me see. Move this. Okay, and can everyone see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Yeah, okay. So, right, basically, AI overviews are starting to take over, especially within Google. I've seen now more and more AI overviews even showing up within Google Maps. Um, so that looks like the direction that Google is going as well. So people talk a lot about ChatGPT uh, as far as showing up in results for ChatGPT, but Google is going that way as well, where it might not just be this full page of links of websites and profiles, but maybe one, two, or three businesses that they highlight within their AI overviews. Okay, so basically, right, the map was simple in the old world. Get your Google business profile up and running, put some stuff in there, get some good reviews, and you're probably good. Those days have changed, right? So, especially with the younger generation, and I'm not sure if this is, especially relevant to maybe your business. I don't know how many Gen Z people have storage units, but this is certainly the direction things are going. People are using things like TikTok, YouTube, Instagram as actual search engines. So that means we need to be more active on social channels and optimize our content as if it was a search engine with location, keywords, all that type of stuff. So as far as analytics goes, the AI answers and the search fragmentation, it's kind of screwing up all of our analytics of where data is coming from. The platforms are starting to catch up where now you can see where clicks are coming from, where these users are coming from, including all of the AI channels. SEMrush just introduced a new tool that does all of that.
I was
But
going to ask
within
you that. Have you noticed that with some of the analytics of what's been tried and true in the past lately just seems kind of all over the place?
Yeah, yeah, a lot of the ranking tools and the analytics tools, there's been a lot of fluctuation. And there's been a lot of algorithm updates and things. And so with me tracking all of my clients' rankings, things are just like, you know,
That's what I've heard, yeah.
all over the place, and it's very frustrating for me. But for the most part, they're still like, hey, we're still getting the calls and the clicks. It's just as far as tracking and providing them with reports is getting tricky. But like I said, the platforms are catching up, and you essentially have this like what was happening is you had this hole in your funnel where you're like, I don't know where this is coming from, or we're losing clicks. Um, but that all is going to get worked out as things catch up. And Google is doing a very good job with this, actually. They're catching up pretty fast because they want to maintain their dominance. And I will say that for the most part, especially with local search, Google is still like 90 some percent of the traffic, right? Like people are freaking out about ChatGPT, Perplexity, all these other platforms, but they still don't account for very much actual uh, clicks or calls or people actually doing business with a local business. It's still heavily, heavily dominated by Google.
I
Um,
was gonna say it's dominated by Google, obviously, but they're weaving in Gemini, the AI within Google itself. So
exactly.
when we're talking about AI searches and that, we're still talking about Google here because
Yes.
they're leaning
Yes.
in
Yes.
so
Yes.
much into that AI stuff. So
Yeah, and you'll notice it's started to happen more and more. Uh, Local search, you didn't have as many AI overviews as you would if you searched a question about something, you know, like how many push-ups should I do per day, to grow my muscles. You're probably going to get an AI overview for that most of the time. For local search, I think it's maybe 10 to 15% of the time now. But they're starting to weave in, like you said, these sort of AI features, even Q&A features within the Google Business Profile. So that will continue. And so what that means is that your Google Business Profile, your website, and everywhere else you are on the internet needs to be optimized to give as much info as possible because Google's going to pull from that and then answer these questions based on that information.
That's a good point right there. I don't want to gloss over that because I've heard some people saying, "Oh, Google Business Profile, it's going to be dead. It's just going to be all AI now." But no, that's where they're pulling the information from to be able to serve the AI results
Right.
is from their Google Business Profile. So
Yep. I think
I
it might be the
agree.
opposite, where you need to double down on that, um, because even within other AI platforms, even within Google's AI mode, they're pulling most of the info from the Google Business Profile, because that's the place where you have your hours, your holiday hours, whether you have a bathroom, whether you have free Wi-Fi. That kind of information usually isn't available on your website, like whether you have free Wi-Fi or a gender neutral bathroom or something, right? So your Google Business Profile is where all of that data lives. Um, so this is just a quick one, but you want depth and authority when it comes to a certain topic, right? And in your case, it might be self-storage, Huntsville, Alabama. Like, why are you the authority and the expert in that area? And what we're switching from traditionally, right, SEO is search engine optimization. We can now call it search everywhere optimization. Like I said, because people use TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, ChatGPT to search, how do you show up in those places? So, like we talked about, the Google Business Profile is non-negotiable. Like you need to. Uh, I can probably give you like the high overview of this. All of your data needs to be consistent. Name, address, phone number matches almost word for word on your Google Business Profile across the whole internet, right? You don't want to be confusing Google. Are you adding photos? Like, look at your top competitor. How many photos do they have? You should have more than they do. They should be real photos, not stock photos, not AI photos. You can even upload 30-second videos introducing yourself, introducing your business. The point is to build that trust with people who are scrolling. And as they're scrolling, the video is auto playing, and that captures attention.
What would you
Reviews.
say? Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just
Yep.
people
No,
are on
go
this.
keep.
What would you say to people that are like, we're in storage for hell's sakes? Like, what am I supposed to take a picture of? Like, here's another 10 by 20. It's like sometimes they kind of get in the head of, I've already done this picture of this aisle or a picture of this unit before. Like, do I
That's a good
take another
question.
one? And just because it's fresh, is that great? And just take another picture of what you've taken before?
Yeah, from another angle. Like it's all about activity and showing Google that this is an active, relevant business. It could be a photo of a lock. It could be a photo of you standing in front of your building, an employee standing in front. It could be you smiling, holding a lock. I mean, it could be you holding your business card. Like
No.
you have a high-powered camera in your pocket. So
And you also mentioned about video. I've noticed, and I've probably audited hundreds of Google Business Profiles for people. I think I've seen it once where they had a video within their photos. Because when you upload photos, it says right there, photos and videos.
yep,
But no one does it.
no one does
Uh,
it.
no, seriously. I don't know what other industries that you notice, but in our niche, they don't. So I think it'd be a great part of just having that in the checklist of your regional manager or whoever's there on a consistent basis. That's part of when you step foot on that ground, you're taking that quick little 30-second video. Because,
Right.
man, that'll stand out from everybody doing that.
Yep, yep. I have a door repair client, and every week he sends me 3 or 4 short videos from his job sites. He sends me photos and videos,
Hmm.
and I just upload them. And he's ranking incredibly well, like all over the county. Um, and he's a service area business. He doesn't even have a physical location, but I think it's just all of that relevance, topical relevance, and activity. It seems to be working very well for him. So
That's right. And
now,
that's
obviously,
key.
his
Activity, being consistent. That's the key.
yeah, activity updates, reviews. This is a really big one. Consistent reviews every week if possible, and then responding to those reviews. Is your category accurate. Now, in your case, there's probably, storage, self-storage is probably not one that you can really screw up.
Exactly. Yeah.
But essentially, you want to go through your whole Google business profile, answer every single question, and just complete that profile. Is LGBTQ plus friendly? Yes or no? Do you speak Hindu? Yes or no? Like answer all of these questions. Um, and businesses with complete profiles get 7 times more clicks and are more seen as 2.7 times more credible, right? If you haven't left things out. So, like we said, the Google business profile is more powerful than ever, actually. Now, I wouldn't say that this is a must, but from what I've seen, AI is really pulling from schema markup. And the main ones are going to be like local business and FAQ. And these are basically structured data that Google and AI can scan very quickly to understand who you are, where you are, and what you do. They don't have to go through the whole website and find this information. It's all in one um, script, I could say. So you can add this to your website fairly easy. You can even have AI write it for you. Then, of course, you want to validate it with a Google tool, a validation tool, which is pretty easy, and then just apply it to your website. You can use different SEO plugins to achieve that if you're using WordPress. And then, of course, something that's very important. This might be a lot for you guys, so just let me know. I'll take questions at the end. But EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. These are the 4 things that Google wants to see. How do you show your expertise in that field? What is your experience? What is your authority, right? Does your site have a high domain authority? And are you trustworthy? That's where the reviews come in. So there's a lot of elements that come together to make the EEAT, but this is super important in the age of AI as well. And schema can essentially kind of set you up with that information that AI and Google can scan. So we're talking about search everywhere, and that means that Reddit, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, even Facebook groups, are there mentions of your brand? Are they positive? You can even go into Reddit and comment and help people if they have questions in a subreddit about self-storage in your area. If there's a face group book about your county, your city, you can go in there and drop a link. Don't be spammy about it, but just try to help people. And you'll see in Google searches, Reddit and Facebook groups are now popping up on page 1 of Google. So Reddit specifically and Facebook groups specifically are 2 that you should pay attention to.
And go back real quick. Sorry to keep jumping in here, but I noticed on there you had YouTube listed on there.
Mhm.
And anyone that's curious, just go to YouTube and just type in. You may not know this, but the big boy in our industry is Extra Space Storage.
I think I've heard the name. Yeah.
That's the big company. And I noticed if you go to YouTube, they have videos pointing specifically to the individual locations, and it's all targeting those local areas, those keywords. So if you want to see things in action, look at the bigger boys, because again they have whole people.
They know what they're doing.
Is to do this, so kind of see what they're doing, and you can model it. But I saw the YouTube on there. I wanted to point that out because I've seen that where it's
Yes. And we've been experimenting that with some of our clients, setting up the YouTube channel. And one contractor in particular, he has a lot of video content from all his jobs. So I just started posting YouTube shorts, and he's gotten a lot of traction, a lot of views, because I've optimized the channel and the videos for his location in Temecula, California, right? The hashtags are Temecula, California, contractor in Temecula. It's mentioned in the descriptions. It's mentioned on the video with text. And I can see that his rankings have gone up as well. So could be because of that. So social is the new search engine. We've talked about this before. You don't want to drop the ball with social, but I know this is a lot. This is a lot to do. But you can kind of templatize things in a Google Doc even, and just kind of change out some stuff. And it's about kind of feeding the algorithm and showing that you are the relevant, authoritative business in the area, right? So profile descriptions, captions, hashtags, and location tags. You don't have to go crazy with this. Again, these can be 20-second short videos. They can be images. They can be carousels, whatever you want. The point is activity that tells Google and people who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
Speaking of carousel, someone put in chat that I guess that just came out this week recently of like on Google business profiles. They're doing the carousels now on photos.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
always,
there's
always something new.
yes, and now you can actually schedule posts on Google Business Profile as well. You don't have to go in each time, and so you could on a Monday you could go in, you could post 5 photos, you could schedule 5 posts, um, and maybe use Monday as your Google Business Profile optimization day or something like that. We've kind of gone over this as well, but Reddit, Discord, Facebook groups. I don't think e-commerce applies to you guys at all, but this is where the conversations are happening. And, again, engage authentically, don't just promote. So, more or less to summarize, you should be thinking about your Google Business Profile first, because that is the data that's feeding AI. Deploy structured data. So again, that is the schema that you can put on your web pages, local business schema, and then FAQ schema. The FAQ schema should match exactly with the FAQs that are on the pages, right? Build that experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trust. Okay. And then, of course, the horizontal game, social search, engage in those communities, and essentially be discoverable everywhere. Consistency and authenticity are winning. You can use AI to automate things, but don't use AI to replace that human connection, let's say. So yeah, like authenticity premium, people are, this is something that's funny. People are going to start paying for authenticity, real people at some point, right? Um, so lean into what makes you local, what makes you unique. Share your knowledge about the community that you work in, right? So if you have certain insights into your community, even related to your business, you can share that on your website, on your Google Business Profile, in your social content, maybe about local weather, local traffic, why your storage facilities are better than the competitors because you understand the climactic elements, something like that. So be human first and then use AI to help you, let's say. All right, so if anyone's got any questions, I'm sure you do. I can take those now.
Perfect. Let's look here.
It's a lot of information, so
Yeah.
might be
Mary,
overwhelming.
Mary, I see you got your hand raised. Go ahead.
Yes, one of the things that you said at the very beginning, you made a comment about word count.
Mm-hmm.
You said word count and titles of the pages. Why is word count something important, and what is what is a good word count? Can you?
Yeah, so you need to have a good amount of content on your website versus your competitors. So let's say your competitor has 1,000 words describing their storage facilities, the areas they serve, and then your web page has, 100 words, and there's very little context there, or even 500 words, but there's very little context about your business. Um, Essentially, Google's going to scan that and say, okay, this person is more authoritative than this other business here.
So the fewer words is more authoritative than the 1,000 words? Because
No, the opposite. The opposite.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. And like I said at the beginning, essentially, if you go and look at your competitors, um, the ones who are ranking at the top, what's the word count on their website, right? Or what are the titles on their pages? And so your metadata which is your title tag, your meta description. And this is quite easy to change on most website builders. It should essentially say what you do and where you do it and the name of your business. So kind of lead with those main keywords first in most of your content. So it might be, self-storage in Phoenix, Arizona. And likewise with your content, you want to kind of front load with the keywords in your paragraphs.
Derek, so you got your hand raised. Go ahead.
Hey, Colm, how are you?
Hey, very well. Hi, Derek.
Hey, quick question for you. So what I find is lately with new owner operators, and I can't stress this enough, is when you first open up the facility, um, it's okay to get authentic reviews on Google. And I think we're in a day and age where customers or prospective tenants know when reviews are not authentic or when perhaps they're either AI generated or whatever you want to call it. Um, when it comes to facilities that are newly opened, obviously if they're not on the first page of Google or the first, 10 or so results, they're losing significant amounts of traffic. Do you guys have any data or do you find any data that shows potentially how much traffic you're losing if you're not within those first, 8 to 10 options if somebody searches storage near me?
I don't actually analyze any data like that, to be honest. I'm only analyzing the data that my clients' profiles are creating or my clients' websites are creating.
Okay.
Um, I will say that for newer businesses, I recommend running ads.
Yeah.
If you're a brand new business, it's just, especially in a highly competitive market, you're going to need months to start to rank. Um,
Right.
unless it's like you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no competition. Uh, so you should probably be running Google Ads or Google Local Service Ads if they're available for service or for storage. I'm not sure if they are. Um, but you need to get that machine running. So you're
Right.
getting clients, you're asking for reviews, and you have to start generating something um, and building, and that will in turn build your local SEO as well. Oh yeah, so Corey says yeah, they are for select accounts, and local service ads are also can be location dependent. Like some cities or areas don't have them yet for certain industries, so it kind of depends.
Thanks for your thoughts, Colm.
Hmm.
And speak to that real quick. The local service ads. I've been hearing that floating around, and that this goes to anyone, the marketers that are on here. Have you been using it for storage and getting any traction using that?
I've got a client of mine who's trying to get through the verification process. It's very tedious.
Okay.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
tedious. But I think it's worthwhile because then you're just so much more exposure, right? You're at top of page. So if you can get through the verification process, I think it's really worth it.
Yeah, I'll speak on that. I have a chiropractic client, and he runs local service ads, and we've also got him ranking in the top three for chiropractor in Brooklyn, right? Highly competitive. And his local service ad takes all the traffic. It's like we're right there, but it's above that. And so he's like, we don't really get much traffic from the local SEO because the ad just takes it all. So
So I do run a local service ad for a storage facility and I help manage, I should say, because without their help, we wouldn't be able to track everything. It's very, very like hard to verify like the phone calls if they actually rented and if they're not a current client. So,
yes.
and then the other thing is we don't want to be found under our current business name either. So like
and these local service ads are basically like above the pay-per-click. That's
Yeah.
right. It's just
Yeah,
placement.
they're above everything.
And it's essentially a duplication of your Google business profile, right? And it looks very native. It's just your name, your reviews, maybe a little description, and then people can click to call or text you, or I think there's even an email option directly. So they don't have to go through any kind of landing page. It's just a click and then
The key
there you
is how
go.
much is that click or how much is that call?
We
Yeah,
calculated it down
it's
to like $36,
How
$37
much?
per click, $37 per click per call. And then
it,
you have to really, really refine it down to the reporting and call back and get on with Google and say, hey, that wasn't a client, that was
yeah,
an actual lead, because it's like a lot of tracking back and forth. And then the reason why I was saying you don't want to be found under your name is because you're just going to get clients that are calling to pay their bill or like
Yeah.
have a question. So there's actually a setting that you click on that says you don't want to be found for your brand name.
yeah, yeah. And you have all the call recordings as well. So you have the evidence of like, hey, this wasn't a legit lead. But the beauty of it is that you only pay for you don't pay for impressions or clicks, right? You only pay for someone who's actually contacted you, which is a benefit over regular Google ads, in my opinion.
Yeah, I really like the idea of only paying for actual leads. We run local service ads for our locations, and it's been pretty good at uh, driving phone calls. But I would say they didn't really come through as much on the only pay for real leads kind of thing, because we do still get a lot of customers or people looking for a different storage facility, but we pop up first, so they think it's the right one. So then we end up paying for that call, and they have like a rating system, so you can rate it as a bad lead or whatever, but they don't always give you credit for those. So it's kind of hit or miss,
I
I've found, but.
I would try to reach out, Matt, because there should be somebody that should be able to help you actually escalate those as well. So you're not paying for leads that you're not
Yeah,
having that
actually
aren't
last week I had a meeting with the Google rep about it, and she's just like, just keep rating them and they should work out eventually, but they don't necessarily.
okay.
That was gonna be my question. Are you stuck in like Google hell loop of being like,
That's my whole life.
Yeah. No, I mean, I know it sounds amazing, but man, I just wonder how expensive it could get for bad leads or bad calls, and if you can
It's
really
something to
do,
try. You can
yeah.
always just shut it off. It's like, you know what, this isn't working. But it's definitely something to try. I've used it for I've had a couple cleaning businesses over the years. And my most recent one, it was just killing it with
Can you
local service
maybe,
ads.
can you just like share your screen with just show an example of what we're talking about here for these local service ads? Is that possible?
Are you asking me, Jim?
Yeah, or yeah, if you got one handy. I mean, it doesn't have to be storage,
Um,
honestly. Just want to get an idea of what we're talking about here.
I don't know if I have one handy, but I can certainly.
I can just Google it, I guess, and just find one. I just want to see an example. Because this is almost like, I'm just thinking out loud, this is almost like a Google Sparefoot for leads. So they may not rent, but at least you're getting the leads, getting the calls, and it's cheaper, I guess, in the long run. Than,
I
There
can
you
get
go. So right at the top, if you can see my screen.
not yet.
Oh, you
Not
can't see
yet.
my screen?
Nope, it's black.
How about now?
There we go.
So you can see right here at the very top, those would be local service ads.
There we go. Gotcha.
So that's like plumber in Ventura where I live. And obviously who's
That's
ever
gonna be
paying
highly
them.
competitive, I would imagine, for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But as you can see, it's essentially just a duplication of the Google business profile, more or less. And you can message, book, get a phone number. And then you have the Google business profile. One form of regular Google ads that works really well actually is to include your business in the map. So if you are doing regular Google ads.
What do you mean? Put your business in the map?
So if you can see here at the very top of regular organic map listings, there's a sponsored result right at the top.
Oh.
And that's an option that you can use Google Ads, regular Google Ads, to put yourself in the map. And that could be a little trick that might be worth looking into.
I was gonna say, if you're doing Google Ads anyway, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah. Yep. Because if I see, oh, these are sponsored. Okay, cool. Let me look at the maps. Okay, that one obviously says sponsored, but it's right there. While I have my screen shared, I don't know if any of you have seen this, but this is an amazing guide put together by Whitespark, which is an SEO software.
The marketers are all shaking their head, yes.
Yeah, everyone's seen this?
No, just the marketers in the room. But
Oh yeah.
this is great.
So I'll put the link to this in the chat, but this is a really extensive, comprehensive local SEO for 2026 from a bunch of experts, basically what matters and what doesn't matter, and what are the main ranking signals. So I will share that in the chat.
What were some of the main ranking signals? What were the top three? Curious.
The main thing is, I'd say primarily the main thing is the Google Business Profile
And we've
signals.
said that and that hasn't changed for years, right? I mean, that's been
Yeah, that's like I said, the basics are still the most important thing. You don't have to get crazy. There's also a YouTube video that they've made about it, if you prefer that. But you can see 32% GBP signals, 20% review signals, 15% on-page signals, right? Your website, 9% behavioral signals, right? Clicks, directions, things like that. Now again, AI search on the right, visibility factors, 24% on-page signals, right? Your website. AI pulls a lot from different websites. GBP signals, link signals, citation signals, review signals. The main stuff hasn't changed, I would say, but you want to have more mentions in Facebook groups and Reddit groups, or subreddits, I should say.
And again, we're talking self-storage here. Who cares about Facebook groups or Reddit groups for my local self-storage facility? Or can we control the narrative a little bit and, claim our name and, at least do that kind of stuff?
Right. You could start your own subreddit of curious what storage facilities people use or which ones they like. Let it populate, see what people say, and then you could add your own at the end. Be like, okay, good to know. You don't want to be too spammy, but it could be good for
done that yet?
gathering some information.
Us marketers in the room here, has anyone done that?
I created the Reddit subgroups or whatever just because I was told that really helps rank with AI, but then I got stuck because I didn't know how. It says, okay, go interact with the community, but there's no one really talking about, especially in the area where my storage is, about storage. So
yeah, it might be
really know what to do.
It might not be that interesting of a topic, like the same as someone would say, hey, who's a good plumber in town or something. It might not really align.
So really, I think focusing, if you had to take a takeaway from this, is again, we're going into the new year and everyone's like, this is going to be my year. I'm actually going to do something. Okay, do something. This, for this year, double down on Google Business Profile of actually optimizing it and being consistent with photos and videos and all that kind of stuff. So that's my main takeaway. That's something I'm definitely going to be focusing on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just like I said, pick a day, every Monday, every Friday, whatever you want, and just post photos. Add in more service descriptions. Add an update. Add a new page to your website, or add a new FAQ to your website. Create a post on your Google Business Profile as an FAQ that matches the one on your website. If you have in your dashboard, sometimes they'll give you products and services, or they'll give you one or the other. Fill out the products one with your services, and then link it to the pages on your website that correlate with that.
That's something I miss. Again, this is talking for storage here, but I see a lot of people don't do the products portion on their Google Business Profile. Our products are storage units.
Yeah.
So having those storage units listed on there. Again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, just look at the big boys. They're all doing their thing right. Just so you can kind of see a good way of what to model, frankly.
Yeah.
Or the services. That's the big one that I keep seeing, is that you got 300 words to fill out your services. Don't just click the little box, describe what it is.
Yeah, yeah, and tell them where you do it as well.
Exactly.
The products, they give you 1,000 characters, and you get a link, and you get an image. So the products are like, don't miss on that one.
It's huge.
And someone asked, why should I post every week? It shows activity. So it shows that this is an active business. And if you think about it, I mean, whether you're a user or Google, if this profile has 100 photos and or 10 posts, and the competitor has 5 photos and 0 posts. Yeah, recency and frequency. Exactly.
And it just comes down to you need to show like you care, like you want business, flat out. So
Yeah.
that's where the being consistent comes from. So act like you want your business. You want to get the phone to ring. So take the actions to back it up.
And it feeds itself. The clicks for directions, that user behavior then feeds
Yeah.
the rankings as well.
Mary, so you saw your hand up here.
Sorry, I had to click off the auto.
Oh, you're
One
good.
of the things going back to the FAQs, and I've been trying to look and come up with doing an FAQ, and after I've done 3 or 4 FAQs, then the FAQ section of in the back end of Google My Business is gone. So I went to look at it through another profile, and I'm not seeing a place for adding in or putting in FAQs. Is Google not liking are they like, oh, she's asking stupid questions, and so they're getting rid of it, or what is going on with that? So I just went ahead and just did an update since I didn't have a place to put FAQ.
Yeah, they got rid of that a week or 2 ago.
That's right.
So now they have an AI feature within the profile that just answers. If someone asks a question, they answer it based on the information. So, yeah, you can create posts with FAQ information. You can just make sure that all your information is as updated as possible throughout the rest of the profile. And
Okay.
Google will pull from that to answer questions. The ones you already had on there should still be there, but
I've seen it disappear from a couple that I've managed too. It's kind of funky on those Q&As. So that's the strategy, at least what I've been doing. I think you just hit on it. Is almost turning your updates as an FAQ because it needs to pull in information from somewhere. So
right,
that's what I've been
right.
doing. So kind of 2 birds with 1 stone. You get content, and you still got your FAQs, and there you go.
Yeah.
What is your take then of putting maybe a mini FAQ or mini something like on a picture? If you go in and edit a picture with a place where you could put like maybe create a meme like the FAQ and then one 2 or 3 word FAQ and then 1 or 2 sentence answer, and then using that picture as a post within your profile pictures.
Yeah, you could use it as a photo on there. You could also use it as the photo in your update as well. Yeah, you can do all that stuff.
That's great. We got about 5 minutes left, guys. I want to be mindful of everyone's time and all that. So, any other questions? Now's your chance.
And I'll put my I should mention, if anyone wants a free audit
Yeah, please.
of their profile, their website, and the kind of their overall online presence, just shoot me an email. I'll get you a free audit for all that. Typically, what I do is I do a screen share, screen recording, and just kind of go through everything and tell you what I think. So there's my email there.
Perfect. Well, this is great. For the last few minutes here, well, thank you for taking the time, Colin. Again, it's always nice having some people that are outside the industry come on and just, if nothing else, just hammers home best practices.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely happy to take the time to talk to you guys. I learn a little bit more about storage business, right? So,
Whether you want to or not. Yeah.
yeah. And then it seems like you've got a few people in here who are very knowledgeable. So, also I'll take advantage of them, and they have the knowledge that I have and specific to your industry as well. So,
Well, I want to make sure we don't skip this. Gary, you had a quick question? You got a site being managed by someone else? Are you still on here?
Yeah, my site is being managed by someone else. Is there a way that I can tell if new content? Um, yeah, I mean, if you go to your website, if you go to your URL, you should be able to see if any new content has been added. Um,
Yeah, it's either your website or your Google Business Profile. I mean, just look at it from a public point of view, and you'll see new content. Go from there. As the last few minutes here, I'll kind of I got an ask here. I got a Christmas wish. Let me share my screen here. Since you're talking about getting reviews and being authentic and things like that, so here we go. Go to storagemeetup.com. Put a new widget on here. I'm testing this out, using it on myself, and then I'm going to use it for storage facilities. See if I can get people to participate. But I'm using it on us first. So first, help me put this as a concept that people will actually do video reviews. So storagemeetup.com, just scroll down. You'll see this little widget here. Just click on drop a video. There you go. Do it from your computer, do it from your cell phone. Let's go. Click that. It'll start recording. Just do like a minute would be awesome. I got Shannon so far, James, anonymous, but I see it's you, Matt, on there. So I appreciate you guys doing that. If I can get some more, this would be awesome because I would love to be able to showcase this as a tool. Not just for me. I mean, it could be great to get some testimonials for the storage meetup, what you're getting out of this. But more so, I'd like to start doing some of these tools and these widgets for storage businesses to see if we can get their customers doing video testimonials. You know, I used to do this back in the day with every new rental. And we'd have the people right there like, hey, we'll take out your admin fee. Just tell us what you think. And we do a video. And it was killing. And I stopped doing it as an idiot. Don't know why, just stopped. So I want to go back to start getting more video testimonials because this kind of goes back to just being authentic. And reviews are great, but I think video testimonials packs even a bigger punch. So help me with that. So go to storagemeetup.com, scroll down, drop a video, be good. It'd be my Christmas present. I'd appreciate it. One more thing here. And then we'll go. So those of you that want to jump on a meeting right after this is when I do a little meetup with about AI. I'm trying to find my video here. I can't find it. Let me see. I'll find it in 2 seconds. For people that want to jump on an AI kind of nerd session, there we go. There it is. Sorry, this is a great session. I should have had this pulled up earlier. Just want to give you the link. We get on every Friday, just talk about AI, what the latest and greatest is, what's going on. It's nice to have other people in the room. There you go. So I'll put this in chat. Anyone wants to jump on, you're more than welcome to. As soon as I wrap up with this, I jump over there and we chat. So that's on there for you. Next Friday, we'll take it off. We got to have one day off after Christmas. So who's going to show up besides me? So we're not going to have any storage meetup next Friday. Merry Christmas. Enjoy the holiday. But I think we're going to do one the following Friday. I can't take 2 weeks off. That's too much. So day after New Year's on the 2nd, we'll do a storage meetup for sure. And while you're on here, let's do a quick gotta do our selfie, if you don't mind. Turn your cameras on. Gotta commemorate the event that we're all on here. All right, cameras on. We're gonna do a selfie. Count of 3. I'll have to do 2 of them because I think we've got enough people. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. That works. Nope. Only have to do 1 this time. We're good. So hope you guys got some value out of that. Appreciate you guys jumping on. Thank you again, Colin, for joining us here. If I don't see you, I will talk to you in 2 weeks. Everyone have a great holiday. Take it easy. I appreciate it very much. And I'll take a look out. So again, storagemeetup.com. Find the video. I want to see some videos on there. I really appreciate it, guys. All right.
Thanks,
Take care.
Jim. Take care.
Happy holidays,
Mona,
everyone.
nice seeing you again.
See you guys.